This is in fact something new that I'm trying as we do the weekly preview for AEW Rampage. But now we do instead a weekly preview for this week's episode of Dynamite. AEW Dynamite is the premier weekly program for AEW, and though they have a major episode of Dynamite set for next week with 2 championship matches, there is 2 championship matches also set for tonight, as Mr. Rampage Orange Cassidy defends his international championship against the Butcher, further proving, in my opinion, that AEW just puts random challengers in place for the AEW International Championship and does not really have a direction or idea, partially because I think Tony Khan enjoys having Orange Cassidy as the champion. But also, Kenny Omega is set to defend his IWGP United States Championship tonight against someone who has been trying to get his attention for months and months and months and months, and that is the superhuman mastodon, Jeff Cobb. It's going to be an interesting contest tonight, as things are far from over between the BCC and the Elite. Things are far from over between the BCC and the Dark Order, and you got to figure that the JAS and the House of Black fit in there somehow. But Kenny Omega may not have, especially with what happened last week with Hangman Page and Don Callis, leading to Kenny thinking that Hangman punched out Don Callis, or pushed down Don Callis. It's going to be an interesting turn of events tonight don't be surprised if somebody gets involved tonight in the United States Championship match. Also tonight, a moment that most of us have been waiting for almost a year, and that is Adam Cole returning to active competition. There was a time last year when we thought that Adam Cole could possibly not be returning to the ring due to a severe concussion he sustained during the four-way IWGP Heavyweight Championship match at Forbidden Door last year. So the fact that Adam is returning to the ring is a very pleasant sight to see, and something that I'm sure a lot of us are excited about. But the fact of the matter is, he's got a hard-fought match ahead of him against the JAS member, Daniel Garcia. But either way, a lot of us are going to be happy to see Adam Cole back in AEW. The women's division has Ruby Soho of the Outcast go against Willow Nightingale. I mean, the Outcast have been running through AEW and trying to run AEW. The question is, will they be the ones to dethrone Jamie Hayter? I mean, honestly, it's hard to predict. That's one thing with AEW. It's hard to predict who could dethrone the current champion in the positions that they have it, because they don't really give any indication of who could dethrone it. I mean, we saw it coming with Jamie Hayter, but that was only when we knew for certain it would be Jamie Hayter. You know, I don't know about you, but that's my take on it. But now we move to the previously mentioned BCC, and I don't know what it is with AEW, but they keep using tandems from Ring of Honor to put over people from AEW. That's not a good look, because you're making it seem like the people in Ring of Honor are less than the people in AEW, which is not good for Ring of Honor if you're making it, that's why they didn't get a TV deal. That's why you have local talent if you want people to be looked at as less than. It's not for Ring of Honor to be looked at as less than, because this is the 3rd time in a row. I think it was 2 matches on Rampage last week where Ring of Honor tandems or Ring of Honor talent were thrown to the wolves, where you knew they were going to lose, as the BCC goes against Dalton Castle and the boys. I've been a fan of Dalton Castle for years, and I know one TV match is not going to hurt him. But I'm just saying that if you're going to have them appear on television, you'd be better off doing a showcase match than you would doing a match where they're clearly going to lose. But that's just me, and we move to Jungle Boy Jack Perry going up against Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy has had, in my opinion, Matt Hardy, the last couple of weeks since his association with the firm, has been a lot more interesting. He has been a lot more interesting than he's been in pretty much most of his run in AEW, outside of when he was with his brother. So I'm glad to see that Matt Hardy has found something to sink his teeth into, that being working with Ethan Page and Stokely Hathaway. But it will be interesting to see where they go from here, because you have to figure that this has got something to do with the Rebar Mitzvah segment with the Four Pillars of AEW interrupting Max and looking for a championship title shot against Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I gotta figure that that's gonna be the case, because off the top of my head, I believe the next pay-per-view for AEW is Double or Nothing, and it should take place around Memorial Day. Off the top of my head, I know that after WrestleMania weekend will be when we start talking about AEW again, because AEW's pay-per-view would be coming up around the corner. With that being said, but you also have to figure that plans should start being, getting together for not just Double or Nothing. I apologize. Not just Double or Nothing, but also Forbidden Door, because from what I understand, Juice Robinson and Ricky Starks are another one of the major matches set for next week's episode of Dynamite, with that going along with the major tag team title match, FTR versus the Guns. If FTR loses, then FTR is done with AEW. And also Jamie Hayter versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. Again, a major episode of Dynamite is next week, but anytime Kenny Omega's in the ring, it's going to be a major episode of Dynamite, because if there's one thing that they do with Dynamite and appearances from Kenny, it's they make it feel like a big deal. But also, tonight's episode of Dynamite is just as big, because Adam Cole, baby, is back with AEW and making what is almost a year. Is making almost a year, his first appearance in almost a year. I don't know why it was so hard for me to speak there, but either way, I do hope that you enjoyed this preview of Dynamite, and if you enjoy this, let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts on the upcoming episode of Dynamite, and what, if AEW is doing enough to get some attention during the most prevalent week for being a wrestling fan. Because as I ended the last news video, I will end this one, and I will say, get ready for the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl of wrestling happens this weekend. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.